Well, if you're a Bangalore fan, you're very happy right now. Not only has revenge been taken against Hyderabad, it's proper revenge. It's revenge into two. It's RRR. Run rate revenge has been taken as well. Got the 2 points and the big one on the run rate. Still a wicket to go over there, but it's just a foregone conclusion. As I like to call it sometimes, they just have to cross the T's and dot the I's and the business is done. Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur, with me Michael Vaughan and Shaun Pollock. We're looking ahead to the next game, which is Delhi v Chennai. That's right. That's the second game that's happening today. This is at the DY Patil Stadium in New Mumbai. So, Navi Mumbai, sorry, Polly. It's Navi Mumbai, right?
That's it. Get it right, please.
I'm very sorry. It's Navi Mumbai. Because, I mean, sometimes I get a few things wrong. Not predictions and score guesses, because...
Before we start predicting for the second game, is this ground just out of your window as well, so you can have a look, or
just a little further? I have to use the telescope for this one. Would you like to? Would Mr. Michael Vaughan like to register an official complaint again? The second.
I'll get legal eagles.
We're submitting it. Your Ginians have already sent me the legal complaint, so it is under review right now. All right. It's Delhi who's won the toss. Rishabh Pant has beat his old master. Yes, his master Shifu, MS Dhoni. He's beat him in the toss, just the toss, and has decided to field first. Chennai, well, they've got a couple of changes, so let's have a look at their 11. They have Dwayne Bravo, who's fit. So Dwayne Bravo walks back into the team, and he comes in place of Pretorius, of course. So Dwayne in and a Dwayne out. And Shivam Dube is also fit. So Shivam Dube comes in. But yes, you're looking down the list, and you are going, there has to be some sort of a misprint, some omission, some administrative failure on our end, because you don't see Ravindra Jadeja's name there. Well, there isn't. Yes, his name isn't there because he apparently is injured. That's right. He's injured, so he's missing the game. I don't remember the last time I saw him injured or with a little niggle, but yeah, he is injured. So that's the change. But let's Polly talk out.
Yeah, no surprise there. Dwayne Bravo has been brilliant at the back end, particularly with the bowling and the death overs. So he's a real strength of theirs, has been for many years. So no surprise when they get the opportunity to get him back into the mix. Dwayne Pretorius tried his best, and his real all-round strength lies more with the striking at the bottom end than the actual bowling variations. So no surprise that once Dwayne's fit, they had to go back to him.
Michael, you know things are getting bad for you when Ravindra Jadeja picks up a niggle and can't be part of the 11.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jadeja in the side, and that's Chennai's best 11. I don't know what he's done. I mean, it'll be probably put to us that he's resting. They generally like to say resting these days rather than tell us.
They said not fit. He said not fit, which is strange because, fitness is not an issue. I'm sure.
No, he's just not fit. They never really give you the reason why they're not fit. But, he misses out. He's a big loss for them. I know he's struggled with the captaincy, but he's still an all-round brilliant cricketer with the ball, with the bat in the field. So he'll be missed. It's just Chennai have just stumbled throughout the whole of this year's IPL. They've had a couple of wins and got a little bit going under MS in that first game back as captain. But other than that, they've really struggled to find the right combinations. I think on paper, if we're all honest, they're not as good as, I know they're a powerhouse of a franchise, have been so successful in reaching the eliminations on a regular basis. But looking at all the different teams this year, I didn't really feel that Chennai were going to be as powerful as they have been, because some of the other teams have bought better in the auction and kind of moved on. Yeah. Whereas I just felt that Chennai just stayed a little bit stale. They didn't do enough in the auction.
Yeah, they didn't refresh it enough. By the way, you could be looking at our team list and saying, wait a second, there may be some sort of administrative goof up anyway, because there's a little confusion between the team and the central authority on which Dwayne is playing. One of the Dwaynes is playing. We've got news that Bravo is. Then there's news coming in that Pretorius is. And then news came in that Bravo is. So I think what we should do with that team list is just put Dwayne. Just put Dwayne. Because one of them showing up. One of them is showing up. All right, let's have a look at the Delhi 11. Well, you're talking about misfortune for Chennai. I don't think any team can match or can beat Delhi in the misfortune sweepstakes, Polly, in this tournament. One thing after the other.
They've had enough curveballs, haven't they? But they've still managed to keep their head above the water. Yeah. I do get the feeling that they're trending in the right direction. I think I'm liking what I'm starting to see from them. They're starting to gel as a unit. They got the right people in the right roles. But there is the Delhi story so far. You can go through it.
Yeah, it's so much. Trust me, it's so much that the font has become like ants. It's ant scrolling, right? But let's just tell you, essentially, it's injury, COVID, injury, COVID, injury, COVID, injury, COVID. Basically, it's that. The injuries, well, you can count Nokia, you can count Khalil, you count Marsh. In COVID, you count Marsh again. So Marsh is everywhere, basically. He's hitting the runs and getting the strike rate. He's getting COVID. He's getting injured. He just loves getting stuff. But Nokia is back, and there seems to be another COVID issue. Today, one of the net bowlers apparently has COVID again. Ricky Ponting was quarantined with his family for a while. So, yeah, they've had a few issues. But how does the team cope with this, Michael? You know, because there's two things it can do. One is it can just throw your head back and say, this is not our year. Just, phone it in. Or it just kind of motivates you a little extra and bonds you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so sure Ricky Ponting will be allowing the team to think that it's not their year because they've had a bit of misfortune. If anything, I'm sure he'll be saying to his team, come on, this is our year. We can really make all these kind of mishaps count for us. Galvanise the team, collectively come together stronger. Probably more players have been used. I'm with Polly. I like what I've seen recently because they've got the combinations right and it's been better. And they're very dangerous. I'm with like the RCB team. Look to me a team that if they turn up and play, they can beat anyone. And I look at Delhi in the same kind of light that if they turn up and play and they get their best players performing, they're a hard team to beat. It's just getting to that standard of play on a regular basis, and it's down to the nitty gritty end of the tournament where they have to perform. Those better players, the Rishabhs and co. He has to rock up tonight and put in a performance, and if he does, and he gets 3 or 4 others around him, they're going to be very, very difficult to beat.
Yeah, because they're a great side. Prithvi's not back. No, there is no Prithvi in the team. We'll show you the 11. Prithvi is still, a little while ago on social media, he was smiling in a hospital bed, wasn't he? He was on a drip. Could be a later gram as well, right? Because I do that sometimes. I go meet some friends for lunch today and I put it up 2 days later. Yeah, but he's recovering from a fever which kept him out last game. And show the Delhi 11, don't be shy. Come on, because we have a story there as well. There's a Dwayne in, Dwayne out for Chennai, but for Delhi it's quite interesting because they used to have 2 Yadavs and a Patel. Now they've got 2 Patels and a Yadav. That's Akshar Patel who's come in, and Lalit Yadav has been left out, and Ripple Patel, who had come in for Akshar Patel in the last game, retains his place. I think Lalit probably just ran out of rope. They gave him a long rope this season. He's run out of it. Let's have a look at the top there. Very interesting. KS Bharat did well for Bangalore last year. You've had a lot of people speaking, there's high praise for him. In fact, in Cricbuzz Live in the Hindi show, there was Virender Sehwag who was speaking very highly about him. And Polly, Viru knows a bit about attacking opening batting, doesn't he?
Yeah, he could play a few shots at the top of the order. He wasn't the worst you've ever come across. Used to favour that offside a little bit. But if he's seen something in him, that is exciting. He gets his opportunity now and gets his chance to show what he's capable of. I mean, you would think Prithvi would come back into the mix as soon as he's fit. So it might just be a one-off opportunity for him. So nothing to lose. And that's sometimes a dangerous situation for the opposition. When someone strides to the crease, he just wants to prove a point, wants to show that he's around and available, and he'll come in and try and be as dangerous as possible. Akshar Patel, I'm glad he's back. I think that also improves their unit. So, good signs from that perspective.
Yeah, Akshar is one of those chill guys who you tend to underrate very often. But Michael, he does the job with the ball. He'll come, he'll bowl wherever you tell him to. In the power play, he'll give you a 4, 5, 6 run over perhaps. And then with the bat as well, he's shown it a few times in this tournament that he's handy, more than handy with it. He's good bat and scores at a really brisk strike rate. So really adds to the balance there at number 6, number 7.
Yeah, he's one of those players that you never see him have a really bad game.
Yeah.
He always seems to contribute something, whether it's with the ball, with the bat, in the field, sometimes with both, and he has an outstanding game. But I very rarely see him have a bad game. His bowling never seems to get dispatched. It might go for 35, 40 at times, but it never really seems to get dispatched. And even if he comes in for 3 balls, he generally hits a 6. He gets a little bit of momentum going back towards his team. So those kind of players that play that role where they're never quite sure where they're going to be used, and that's both with the ball and the bat. They're so important because they've got to be smart. They've got to be very mentally strong because they're never quite sure when they're going to be bowling and to whom. And they've got to be very quick to react to the situation out in the middle. They're so important for teams. And as I said, he's consistently always up there. 7 out of 10. He's like Dennis Irwin at left back for Man United back in the day. 7 out of 10 every
Can we get him back, by the way? Can we get him back?
Who else?
Who else? Dennis
about 2 out of 10.
Probably getting this team, to be fair. Ow.
Yeah. In place of Tilly, there's no competition. Anyway.
Okay, coming back to the Delhi bowling. Polly, let's look at the Delhi bowling because they got a little booster shot. They've got Anrik Nokia back in the team. And also they got Shardul showing up with the ball in the previous game. So that really kind of helps because he was kind of, operating at 50%, even with his quota. And once you get Shardul, you've got Khalil back who's bowling. You've got Kuldeep in form. Anrik Nokia. Akshar Patel comes back in. You can get overs perhaps. You'll get them from Ripple. You could get them from Mitchell or Robin Powell. They haven't used them yet. But what are you looking at this bowling unit now, and what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking it looks good. I think he struggled a little bit with the role of being the main guy in the attack. Now that Khalil and Anrik Nokia are back, that sort of gives him a different role, and I think he's better suited to that. They've got some good spinners as well, and as the tournament goes on, I think the spinners will come into their own, much like we saw from RCB today. I mean, they've got 3 or 4 options, and that's why they're really looking good for these worn wickets at the back end of the round robin stage. But I think Nokia went well as well, but interested to see how he goes second outing. He obviously struggled with that injury, struggled to find his form, struggled to get back into the mix. But after that last game, he was good, and interested to see how he goes tonight.
Yeah, and then you've got the Chennai batting, right? Because that's been, it's kind of been a little up and down as well in terms of the order. And, now if you have a look at it, you've got Devon Conway and Convoy, I keep calling him Conway, I'm sorry. Devon Conway and Rituraj Gaikwad, who are there at the top. You have Robin Uthappa, who's kind of been pushed down because he was good as the opener. So I just want to talk about that for a second. Michael, do you think this is just them prepping for next year? Because Robin Uthappa didn't put a foot wrong as opener, but they're thinking Devon Conway is more kind of, long race horse season after season. So kind of let's just make this and let this work with Rituraj Gaikwad and Robin's experience so he can do it at 3 or 4 as well. Is that kind of what the thinking is?
Yeah, I think left-hand, right-hand combo. I think that's what they probably went for. And with Conway, I think they see someone who can be very consistent. The team can bat around. Utaba did nothing wrong. In actual fact, he was the one standout player for them in the early stages of the IPL. So he'll feel a little bit aggrieved that he's been moved to number 3. But that's the nature of the IPL. Teams swap and change combinations and roles. I really like Devon Conway. I think he's a real smart cricketer that you'd want in your side because, as I said, I think he'll be very, very consistent for them and he'll get scores and everyone else can just play the cameos around him. But there's Uthappa at the start. I mean, he came out the traps, was great, smacking it to all parts, good strike rate. And then since he's had the opening spot taken off him, it's been more difficult for him. And that can happen when you get a different role. You have to start thinking differently. Those first 6 overs as a batter, you go out for it's great. You've got 2 fielders out the ring, bit of pace on the ball, brand new. White, I think they're using the Kookaburra over there. It's just a glorious time to bat. It might swing for 2 overs, but after that, it's glorious. Yeah. And then you come in at number 3, and you might not get in till the 4th or 5th over, sometimes after the power play, and it's completely different role. So he'll feel aggrieved, but I do like Devon Conway, and it's that left-hand, right-hand combination that I think they like.
Chennai's batting also goes on and on. So just like Delhi's got bowling options, you see Chennai with their batting. It's fairly long, but you're looking at batting first against Delhi, and Delhi's batting has some power, proper power hitters, Polly. But what are you looking at? You're looking at DY Patil. You're batting first against a team that could potentially chase a high total. You go in there, you've not won much. You look at yourself in the points table. You're sort of right towards the end. What do you think when you're going into bat? Can that sort of just almost liberate you and say, we got nothing to lose?
Yeah, I think they'll be quite keen just to see what the personnel are capable of and not heap too much pressure on them. They've probably resigned themselves to knowing that they're out of the competition. They'll be disappointed with the last chase performance because it looked like they were on target to get over the line. But they've had some good starts, and they'll be hoping for another good start with Conway and Gakwad at the top, and then try and launch from there. I don't think they'll overthink it at all. I don't think they've ever been a team who really overthinks things. They've always been pretty calm and balanced. And I think they'll keep that with MS at the helm. I think it'll be more of the same.
Keeping it chill. Keeping it cool, keeping it calm. That's what MS Dhoni does as captain. All right, let's give you some before we kind of do our score predictions on this. Let's have a look at what has happened in the first game of the day today, which was just very easily won by Bangalore. Hyderabad was 193 was what they needed to get. They have fallen woefully short of that. 125 all out, a 5 for Nindu Hasaranga picking up 5 for 18. Josh Hazelwood picking up 2 wickets and Glenn Maxwell got the 1. But for Hyderabad, it was kind of a lone battle. Rahul Tripathi got the half century, but nobody really managing to give him any support through it. And that target was just too big for them and it just grew bigger on them. So it's the 4th straight loss for Hyderabad now. And RCB is taking revenge. This was the same team that got them 68 all out, and today they have won by 67. They have got Hyderabad all out and are 67 runs ahead of them. There's some poetic justice in there somewhere for Bangalore fans. I don't know what it is, but I'll figure it out. But right now, let's have a look at the points table and see what this has done for the net run rate for Bangalore. Because if you remember, it was languishing. It was way down below. But suddenly, oops, it's almost up to 0. They were minus, I think, 0.4 something, and that means they've really got a little booster shot, a vitamin booster shot straight to the face for Bangalore. So they are in number 4 position. Remember, they played 1 game extra. They played 2 games extra from Delhi. Delhi's playing their 11th as we speak right now. For Hyderabad, well, they got, 2 losses. Then they had 5 wins, and now they've had 4 losses. So for them, it's pretty simple. Either they're up or they're down. But big win, Michael, for Bangalore. They're still... Some wins make you feel good. This will make them feel a little better.
Yeah, I mean, and it's gone to 14, that net run rate. You know, they have 2 big wins. They're going to be obviously in the eliminations. They get 1. They probably might need to potentially win nicely in the next game as well. It just makes the Delhi game now a huge game for Delhi. Delhi have to win. You know, simple as that. They can't afford to lose this evening's game. RCB are very, very dangerous. As Polly mentioned, now the pitches are getting a bit worn. They've got so many spin combinations, and Hasaranga is magnificent. To both left and right handers, he's just got the ability to go either way, but he targets the pads. You know, to the right handers to get that ball coming back in, and he looks like a leg spin that's quite difficult to pick. You know, there's a few out there that you can see the googly quite soon. I think he's quite difficult to pick. So. With all those combinations, all those spinners, those batters that are starting, apart from Virat, and he will find form, pretty sure, they're all starting to play to what you would see as their potential. They're a very dangerous team.
Polly, the bowling and batting today was excellent. They've got to do something about their fielding. Butterfingers.
yeah, it wasn't the greatest. Maybe they were so hot and their hands were sweaty. We'll give them that. But the bowling, even the faster bowlers, you know, I thought Josh Hazelwood would be quite a handful on that surface. He proved to be, as did Siraj. But they learned their lesson. They watched what happened in that first innings, and the width and pace on the ball, that was going to be no good. So they were really tight on their lengths, tight on the stumps, making sure that even someone like a Markham was difficult to get that ball away. So, yeah, they put in a fantastic effort. And as you can see, Hyderabad there on the points table, their net run rate's all of a sudden taken a whack after that one. So they've got it all to do. They've got no form at the top there with Kane Williamson. And now things are going to be pressure up. And you can almost start to see a little bit of separation of the top 4. There's 14 points. No one's on 10 unless Delhi win tonight. And things are starting to move in that direction. But how's this for an RPL? We've got the 3 legendary teams at the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
You've got 2 of the legendary batters run out without facing a delivery in the innings. Rahul and Williamson. And then a first baller for Kohli. But there's a possible separation, should I say. Delhi on 10. If they don't win tonight, then all of a sudden we've got a little gap between the also Rans and the top 4, which is important. And then just also have a look at Hyderabad. For the first time, they've gone into the negatives there with their net run rate.
Yeah, it's true. Delhi definitely needs to win today. Otherwise, the top 4 run away, and we don't want the top 4 to run away. You know, I know there's a lot of Dhoni fans out there and Chennai fans out there looking at me and saying, "Stop it!" But hey, we don't want them to run away. But while a few captains there are obviously in trouble, as you mentioned, Kane Williamson, KL Rahul. There was one captain today who was wearing red and black who was in no trouble at all. And he is our Omnigel relief and recovery performer of the match. Omnigel, India's number 1 pain recovery gel brand. It not only gives quick relief, but also recovery from pain. No dard for fans. Today, he gave a lot of pain to the Orange Army because after the loss of the first wicket on the first ball, Virat Kohli that too, could have crumbled for Bangalore, but he was the super glue, kept it together.
Yeah, he'll go and have an ice bath, and then I'm sure there'll be lots of gel rubbed all over him to make sure that he recovers because he's been out there for the 40 overs. Oh, Allah, he took his time getting back on the field. I think he was there for 1 over short. But yeah, it was a valiant effort, a marathon effort from him to be out there and be the glue that kept that innings together with some good cameos around him. So no surprise that he gets the award for today, and he did have to go through a bit of heat and pain.
But Michael, good captaincy as well today, right? I mean, just we spoke about it at the com box, just the way he was rotating his bowlers.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the best captain in the IPL. I just see him as a magnificent thinker. That's both with the bat in hand, and then when he gets out there as the leader, I love the way he's at long off and just kind of manoeuvres his kind of team. He only comes in when he feels there's a review worth looking at. He's got good combinations. He's got a good attack, but it's just the way he uses them. You know, the way, he used all his bowlers inside the first 9 overs or 10 overs because he just wanted to make sure that the batters weren't lining any of his bowlers up. He's a smart captain. And that's why I've said it from the start. Because of Faf, I just feel that the RCB team this year have just got a great opportunity because he's got the tools and you've got a real clever cricket thinker. And he's won it before quite a few times with Chennai. He knows how to win the IPL. He's just got a different shirt on.
Can he lift the first cup for Bangalore?
Well, I think they've also stumbled onto something, haven't they, with Maxwell? I mean, they've been battling to get wickets in the power play.
Yeah.
But it's been 2 games in a row now where Maxwell's actually been the one who's got them off to the fast start. And he'll continue to probably play a role on the Vaughan services as the IPL goes on. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was Faf's idea only or the Brains Trust have come together and thought it's a good idea, but that's also an idea that's working.
We shall give that to him. There may be a little doubt whether it was his idea or not, but there's no doubt about his batting today because that was a phenomenal batting effort in that heat. He kept it together, let the other side go hammer and tongs and get them up to 192. So Faf was our Omnigel relief and recovery performer of the match. He ensured that there was no dud for the Bangalore fans. All right. Just one last piece of business, which is our score prediction. Chennai batting.
No, you banned predicting.
You can play. Yeah, it's at least 30 meters from your flat. This one, so you can play.
Just a little more. It's nothing. It's really, really far. But I just want to tell you, the legal application complaint from your Ginians has been reviewed by the one-man committee, that is me, and it has been overturned. So sorry about that. Therefore, I, as the defending champion, will go first, and I go for 182.
177 for me.
That's very, we've been.
All right, I'll get 170. 170.
170, 177, 182. We've packed it in really tight, as you can tell. Both Polly and Dhoni are trying to live this reflected glory. They're trying to be the moon to my sun. Trying to stay nearby. Fuck their cars close. Get a few drops of this genius on them. Maybe. By the way, this ground. This is one of those tricky ones. You can't tell. Some days it's 140. Some days it's 210. But let's see. Maybe we get it right. All right, time for us to go. We're going to come back at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. Have a look at how Chennai is going with their batting effort. Big thank you to Michael Vaughan and Shaun Pollock. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Cricbuzz Live.